Welcome to Alex Ribeiro Underwater Coaching. This is the first video of a series on grading underwater B-roll image from Blackmagic Pocket 6K on daVinci Resolve 17. Here, I will give you some hints on how to achieve the best footage. I've been using this camera underwater since the housing came out nearly 2 years ago. It took me many months and mistakes until I got it sort of right and pleasing to my eyes. If you have a similar rig, plan to buy one, or are new to grading B-roll files, this tutorial might be for you. So let's jump into the tips and advices on how to get a nice underwater footage from this rig. One is you should aim for the highest possible quality. Wide-angle underwater scenarios can switch from flat to highly contrasty, from dark into overexposed in a second. You want to have the most information to deal with it on post. Shoot 6K B-RAW until 50 frames per second or 2.8 B-RAW until 120 frames per second should you want to do slow motion. My SSD drives allow maximum Q0 until 30 frames per second or Q5 for the remaining. Therefore, I usually stick to Q5. High light retention can be an issue underwater as the sun often reflects on the surface. I tend to expose for preserving the most of the highlights. That generally means leaving those reflections slightly overexposed while preserving the mid-range detail. I train my eyes to see how it translates from filming into the final delivery, so I usually don't use LUTs. I just read the histogram while setting the ISO either to 100 or to 1250. And that's when the second base ISO kicks in. Other ISO values don't affect the raw footage. They just provide the sidecar information for Resolve to play it. But you can do it yourself when post-processing, so you don't really need to. I fine-tune it with Aperture. Remember that underwater you cannot add or remove ND filters. I try to keep the aperture not too wide open to avoid blurring the edges, neither too close to avoid diffraction. That would be on this particular lens, which is Canon 815 and a 9-inch dome, from let's say f5.6 to f13. You may want to set ISO to 400 and 3200 instead. The histogram curves will then look different, but if properly exposed, the final result will be the same. Whether to use or not red filters is a matter for a whole different video. They can indeed be useful, but they can also ruin your footage. Let's say it is safer not to use them in Blackmagic Pocket 6K, as you cannot take them out underwater should you need to. This whole tutorial is based on no red filters while filming. You can choose how daVinci Resolve outputs the video signal to your monitor. Therefore, you just need to match that output to your monitor settings. I use sRGB, but you can also use Rec 709, Gamma 2.2 or 2.4, providing your monitor offers these options. In any case, as long as they are matched, you will see roughly what your viewers will see. It won't hurt to do a preliminary export and check it on a variety of screens before you do your final export. So here are the main points to retain. 1. Shoot B-RAW at the least compression that your recording media can support. 2. Expose correctly. Avoid overexposing. Use zebras and histograms to check your exposure. 3. Be careful with red filters, especially when using torches. 4. Match Resolve's timeline settings with your monitors and calibrate it if possible. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you on the next one where I actually do the color grading workflow.